Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today for our QuickTake series. I'm Andrew Reich, value engineer here at Logiwa, and I'm excited to be your co-host for today's session, where we'll dive deeper into the topic of headless architecture.
I'm Byun, Director of Solutions, and I'll be diving into some of the more technical aspects, showing you how this exciting technology actually works in practice.
In today's rapidly evolving supply chain landscape, adaptability isn't just a buzzword, it's essential for survival and for growth. Everyone can relate to this type of pressure where maybe your clients want you to connect to the latest e-commerce platform, or your team finds a new piece of automation that could save you thousands of hours. But too often your WMS is a roadblock. It's a closed system that makes every new integration a costly, high-risk project. Today, we're talking about how to break open that box. We'll explore a concept called headless architecture and how this type of architecture could give you the freedom to connect your WMS to the tools you want, to customize workflows on the fly, and to future-proof your operations without being trapped by your software's limitations.
All right, so today we're going to cover really three main topics, and of course, traditional QuickTake fashion, wrap it up with our key takeaways. We're going to cover what exactly is headless architecture, then take a look at some key advantages of having a headless WMS, and finally we'll wrap it up by covering some, again, real-world applications on how this can be used in practice.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a headless architecture? When you hear headless, you might think of something missing a crucial part, but in the world of software, it's actually the opposite. In essence, a headless architecture separates the brain, which in our WMS world is the core logic that handles inventory, orders, and operations. So separating that brain from the head, which you can think of as the user interface, or what you see and interact with. The separation means you can customize or swap out the head without touching the powerful engine beneath. And if you're like me, examples help a lot with understanding. So think of the smartphone app ecosystem as an example. Your smartphone has a powerful operating system. That's like the core WMS brain. But you don't interact directly with the operating system for every single task. Instead, you use an array of apps for banking, social media, shopping, weather. Each app has its own interface and purpose, but they all tap into the core capabilities of your phone. A WMS with a headless architecture is similar. The core WMS handles all the complex logic, but you can build and connect specialized apps or interfaces tailored to your exact needs without being constrained by a single rigid front end.
Exactly. Another way to look at it, and this is one of my favorites, is to think of it kind of as a universal adapter. So if you imagine your current WMS as a device with a very specific old-fashioned plug, if you want to connect it to a new modern outlet, you're out of luck unless you find and pay for an expensive adapter, right? So a headless WMS is very similar to a universal adapter for your entire supply chain. It provides a standardized sets of ports, which we call APIs, that allows any other system to plug in easily, regardless of their own conventional plug type. This really does open up a lot more possibilities when it comes to connectivity. So now that we understand the concept, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the advantages that the architecture brings, not just from a tech perspective, but also from the business side. At its core, a headless WMS remains API first, meaning all the functionalities that you see within the UIs are exposed through well-defined APIs. So the benefits, the first major benefit is flexibility and agility. A lot of traditional systems tend to be rigid. And again, if you want to integrate that new system or customize a new workflow, often takes time and cost, and then you have to maintain. But with a headless WMS, because everything is exposed with these standard APIs, you can quickly build your custom solutions or integrate your new technologies, essentially adapting to changing demands in the market without disrupting any of your core operations.
Yeah, and exactly. And this agility directly translates into future-proofing your supply chain. So think about it. The pace of innovation in logistics is accelerating. Robotics, you have AI, you have the Internet of Things, you have new marketplaces. They're emerging constantly, but with systems that have a headless architecture, you're not locked into a system that might become obsolete. You can seamlessly plug into new technologies as they arrive, ensuring your operations remain cutting edge.
All right, so let's jump into some real life concrete examples on how this actually plays out. The first, considering custom carriers, right? Andrew, imagine a scenario where you need to connect to some niche regional custom carrier that your standard WMS doesn't support. In most traditional systems, this is going to require an SOW and some custom development work. But with a headless WMS, you can leverage APIs like potentially our open carrier configurations, and you can actually build the custom integration to any carrier. You can make the real-time calls to the connection directly from the WMS UI, manage your rates. And the key thing here is it reduces a lot of vendor reliance. You can have the flexibility to build this on your own, maintain it on your own, without ever having to pick up the phone and talk to your vendor.
Yep, and this is massive for businesses with diverse shipping needs. It removes a huge barrier and ensures you always have the best shipping options available, directly impacting your delivery times and costs.
Yeah, and moving on, right? Robotics and how do we make that integration as seamless as possible? I think one thing we've learned is that the rise of automation within warehouses is undeniable. It's almost a matter of when. But with headless WMS, right, having things like warehouse task execution endpoints provides a standardized way for any robotic system to not only receive the tasks, but take that, run their own manipulations, but importantly, report back to the WMS to confirm anything or any task was completed. That means you have the flexibility again to integrate best of breed robotic solutions quickly and efficiently, and definitely scale your automation as you need.
Yeah, and that's where you see significant gains in efficiency, accuracy, and labor optimization. Imagine a robot automatically transporting goods to a packing station, all orchestrated flawlessly by the WMS through these APIs.
And the final application here is really a general one. It's the power of partnership enablement. Modern supply chains are truly like ecosystems, right? Your headless WMS simplifies the integrations with critical partners like your ERPs and marketplaces upstream, EDI providers, yard management, TMS downstream, even down to a manufacturing system. But by having clear and accessible APIs, the headless WMS does its job by making the integrations faster, more reliable, and less expensive. The WMS can't do everything. It should focus really on the core within the four walls, but customers need everything to manage that cohesive supply chain.
Yeah, and that really does become a huge competitive advantage. It means you can choose the best of breed solutions for every part of your supply chain and have them work together harmoniously. Now, let's look at a more specific example of an actual customer's use case. So, a customer who ships gourmet chocolates needed to prevent them from melting in transit. With their headless WMS, they implemented a pretty brilliant automated solution. So, I'll walk you through the flow here. When an order with a chocolate SKU comes in, a webhook alerts a custom application. This application uses the WMS APIs to get the delivery address. It then makes an API call to a third-party weather service to get the forecasted temperature at the destination. If the temperature is above a certain threshold, this application sends an instruction back to the WMS via another API call to add dry ice to that order before it gets shipped. So this entire process is automated and seamless. It reduces errors, it ensures the product quality, and ultimately enhances the customer satisfaction.
Yeah, I really love that chocolate example because it really shows the power and how creative you can get when it comes to an integration. Um, and at the end of the day, right, it's not about replacing your WMS. It's about making it infinitely more capable and intelligent. In fact, that is the philosophy we have here at Logiwa. Our own headless architecture is kind of the core foundation that enables some of our feature sets, like our AI-powered job optimization, even our integrated labor standards modules, right? We build on top of our own powerful APIs to really deliver that next level functionality.
Exactly. And that brings us to our closing thought. We've talked about smartphones, universal adapters, and smart shipping. Now we want to turn the question to you, our audience. We've seen how a WMS provides the building blocks for incredible innovation. So, what would you do if you could truly extend and enhance your existing WMS?
Yeah, it's a interesting thing to think about, right? What challenges could we solve? What new efficiencies that we don't know about today could we unlock? What partnerships could we forge? Of course, what level of automation could we achieve if you just could make the assumption that your WMS can seamlessly connect to any system, device, or data source?
Yep, the possibilities are truly limitless. We encourage you to think creatively about the integration, the partnerships, and automation opportunities that a headless WMS can unlock for your supply chain. It's about moving beyond simply managing your warehouse to truly orchestrating an intelligent, adaptable, and future proof operation.
Yep. And we really hope this session has given you a clear understanding of what is headless, what is a headless WMS, and what is the potential to transform for you and your business. Again, if you're interested in exploring or learning more on how Logiwa's headless WMS can help power up your operations, feel free to reach out to us. Our team is always ready to discuss your specific needs and show you how you can start building a more agile future.
Yep. Thank you again for joining us today. We appreciate your time and attention. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us through the information on the next screen. And we hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.